Welcome to 2 Minutes to Think. My name is Jeswin, and today, after a fun-filled entertaining video, we are getting back to the serious format because today's topic is about ego. So in this video, we are going to discuss about what is ego and how is it formed within a person, and how can we identify whether a person has ego or not, and how can we overcome ego, as well as how can we use ego in a positive way. So these are all the topics which we will be discussing today. Now, you may ask a question: why is it so important to understand about ego? How does it matter? Very simple. If we don't understand about ego, we will not think about others, because this characteristics called ego will always encourage us to think only about ourselves. It's me, I, and what benefit will I get out of this? This is what ego will allow us to do. Only think about us and be more and more selfish. So it's very much important to understand about ego. Now, have you heard of people saying or thinking in this way? What will other people think about me? What if my reputation spoils in front of everyone? I have come all the way till here all alone, and hereafter I don't need anyone's support or help. Or if someone tells you or points finger at you saying you have ego, immediately you tend to ignore or defend yourself saying no, or any accusation for that matters. You are an angry person or you are a liar. For any accusation, immediately have you heard or seen people defending, no, I'm not. Now, if you are a person who has been thinking or speaking in this way, or if you would have seen someone speaking or thinking this way, then this video is for you. Watch till the end of this video so that you can understand how can we overcome ego, and also how can we utilize this ego in a positive manner. Alright, so let's start the video. First, let's understand what is this word ego mean. In very simple terms, let's understand this. Whenever you look at someone or something, immediately you start framing an image about that particular person inside your head. Maybe based on the looks of that person, or the characteristic or the attitude or the way he speaks. Based on these factors, we start to frame an image inside our head about that particular person. And this is done subconsciously, without our knowledge. This is the same thing what we do to ourselves as well. We do have an image of our own self based on our looks, based on our characteristics, based on our skill set, or based on our actions or habits. We also have an image of ourselves which is recorded in our brain. Now, this is also called as self-image. This element of self-image is what directly is connected to ego. Now, what does ego mean then? Ego is nothing but, it's just a personality or a quality or a characteristic of a person. Like how a person is so loyal or generous or humble or very kind to others, loving. Similarly, ego is also a personality which is carried by a person. When do we say that a person is egoistic? When that person starts thinking or valuing his self-image to the highest, that yes, this frame or this image about me is the most important thing above everything. So when that person is giving more value or most importance to his own self-image, that personality is called as ego. Now, how does ego gets formed within us? There are two ways in which ego forms within a person. The first way is because of an inferiority nature. I feel low about myself, but in order to avoid myself from showing that I feel low in front of others, I will show myself as if I have everything and I know everything. This is one reason why ego forms within a person. And the second reason is due to a superiority nature. When a person is feeling that I know everything, or I have handled this already, or I am always correct, others are wrong. This kind of egoistic nature is caused due to superiority feeling. So both causes ego, either inferior feeling or superior feeling. Both can lead to ego within ourselves. Now, how do we really identify this? Do you want to know a shocking fact? Well, 100% of the time, you never knew that you have ego. That's the truth. The worst part is, we never knew whether we have ego or not. We may point out at others, but we could never figure out whether we have ego or not. That's the most difficult task. Let me connect it with my own story. I'm a person who had a lot of ego, but yes, I was able to find out that I am filled with ego with the help of others who had already overcome this ego personality of theirs. Now, it was really very hard process to shed off this ego personality because it does not happen in one day. It is a continuous process, and it happened to me with consistent hammering and exposure to different levels of ego. That's how I was able to shed my ego gradually. Now let me tell you guys how I was able to identify ego. There is a trick how we can identify whether we have ego or not. That trick is called as self-analysis test. It's just a test. We give it to ourselves. Very often, I keep asking questions to myself so that I get to know whether I am having ego or not. Let me share those questions with you guys as well. Are you a person who dislikes when others are succeeding? Second scenario. Most of the time, you tend to redirect the attention back to yourself. If let's say something good has happened, you would be the person going and telling, it was because of me this incident happened. I was the reason behind this entire achievement. So you always redirect the attention back to yourself. Third scenario, are you a person who constantly keeps comparing yourself with others? Let's say the self-image which you have created for yourself. Are you comparing your self-image with others' self-image? Fourth scenario, are you a person who always craves for respect or recognition? Whatever you do, you feel that I should be getting the respect. If I enter into the gathering, I should be recognized. Are you a person who feels that way? Fifth scenario, are you a person who's always being defensive? If someone blames you or keeps an accusation against you, like for example, you are a person who gets angry very soon, or any kind of accusation it could be, but are you the person who immediately ignores that accusation or defend yourself by saying, no, I'm not? If you are carrying any one of these attitude or these personalities or qualities, then of course, you also have ego. Now comes the most important part. Ego is of two categories. One is called as positive or healthy ego. The other one is called as a negative or a toxic ego. Let's assume a scenario. A person comes to you and tells, you're good for nothing. You don't know how to handle certain things more effectively. And they start blaming you. Now, a person who carries a positive ego will feel this way. How is that? Can you tell me that I'm good for nothing? I will show it to you that I'm good for everything what I do. And they will make sure they push themselves to achieve something in life and show it to that person what he said was not true. This is a positive ego. Now, a negative ego or a toxic ego is nothing but the same scenario when a person comes and blames at you saying you're good for nothing, you're not able to handle certain things perfectly. This person falls down to the ground and cries and blames that person and feels so low, acknowledging the fact, yes, I'm unable to do anything effectively or I'm good for nothing. This negative ego causes more grudge against that person or enmity against that person and a feeling of failure within this personality itself. This is a negative or a toxic ego. Now, as we understood these two categories, yes, Ego is also a good personality if it is being utilized in a positive way. And here comes the most important part of this video. That is, what is the solution? There are few things which we can practice effectively every single moment in order to get rid of ego. Let's understand this one by one. The first exercise, what we need to do is kill that self-image which we have created within our head. This is the root cause for that personality of ego. We need to break this or distract the self-image which we have created within our head about ourselves. Second scenario is we can easily overcome this personality of ego by being grateful to each and everything whatever is happening in our life, every single moment. That will really help us to overcome ego. Third scenario is we have to stop telling story to ourselves within our head. Stories like, I'm good at studies, I'm wealthy enough in life, or I'm able to manage everything whatever is happening in my life. Whereas the reality is the opposite. You are not well enough to do. You are not studying very well, or you are not able to handle certain things in your life. But still you keep telling a story to yourself saying that everything is going good, all is well, nothing is wrong in my life. That is nothing but simply covering up the reality. Now we need to stop telling this story to ourselves and acknowledge the reality of our life. That is simply being genuine or open of what exactly is happening in our life. The next exercise is we need to set high goals or high purpose in life so that any small incident which is happening in our life, we would not spend more time focusing on that particular matter, whereas we will be focusing towards the target or the purpose which we have set in our life. So that's very important. Set the purpose of your life or goal of your life higher, and focusing on that purpose will certainly help you to overcome ego. And the last but the most effective exercise is have a beginner's mindset. Always feel that whatever I've done is not that great. I have still more things to learn. I should improve a lot. I need to learn a lot. I have not achieved anything so far. There is a long way to go. This is a beginner's mindset. And always we need to set this in our head very strongly. These are the simple exercises. If we continuously practice in our life, we can easily overcome ego. Now you may ask a question, Jaswin, it's all right. Whatever you're saying is true. I'm able to identify my ego and now I will try to overcome that as well. But here I have a question. What if I encounter a person who has ego? How would I be able to handle that person? How can I manage this scenario? Well, definitely I'm going to share that part as well. Now, since you have understood how to identify the personality of ego, you can easily identify if a person has ego or not. Now, the moment you understand that, the first activity what you need to do is always allow those people to speak. Let them speak freely. You just calmly listen to them. Because the more you tend to argue with them, it's more like adding fuel to the fire. So always the best practice is to stay calm and listen to them. When you find a person who carries an ego personality within him, always acknowledge and praise a good deed which that person has done. Or maybe if that person carries any good attitude, always acknowledge and praise that person. For if you praise them, that will satisfy their ego. They will feel good when you praise them. Because whatever the self-image they have, that they are good at this, if you are also supporting their point that yes, you are good, they will start liking you. So yes, keep encouraging and keep appreciating them whenever possible. And the most interesting way how to align with their thought process is always try to strike a conversation about their personal interest. It could be a game, or it could be about cooking, or it could be about long drives, anything. But whatever is the common interest, Always strike a conversation about that particular topic, and they will become comfortable in sharing a lot of things with you, and gradually they'll try to break that self-image which they have created for them while they are getting more and more comfortable with you. The most important thing to be followed is never ever talk about a person or a place or a thing which can trigger their emotions. We all have certain sentimental zones in our life. When you go ahead and talk about anything negative about that particular topic, this will definitely trigger their emotions because they already have the high standard of egoistic nature. So they can be easily triggered by their emotions. It's better to avoid any negative conversation about those topics which are considered as sentimental zones for that person. So concluding this video, ego is always a good quality if it is used in a positive manner. Utilize the ego in a positive manner to push yourself harder and achieve more and more. But the moment you have achieved something, immediately get back to that beginner's mindset. And this can really help us to get rid of ego and to keep growing in life. And that's 2 minutes to think. Now, as I told you, 2 minutes to think will definitely help you to think ahead and grow, but only and only when you implement it. I hope that this video will help you in understanding what is ego and how to overcome this characteristic of ego easily. Share your views about what have you realized from this video in this comment section, and also start implementing this in your life. And whatever the output you get according to your experience by implementing this concept in your life, you can share your experiences as well in the comment section. And most importantly, guys, don't forget to share this video with your family members, your relatives and your friends, especially for those people whom you would have understood by now that they are also carrying this personality of ego. Definitely share it with those people so that they can watch this video and get benefited out of this video to utilize ego in a positive way. And also I would like to tell you, do suggest any topic in which you wanted me to speak about. Needless to say, this topic was also suggested by one of our subscribers of our channel. You can also come up with your own topics. So definitely I would speak about those topics as well for you guys. So see you all in yet another interesting video, guys. Until then, take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.